All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. It is Sunday, February 6, 2022. And I just want to jump on for a couple of minutes here to let you know about the 10-week online class that I teach on Sundays from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement of Black Power, 1865 to 1968. And class number 1 is starting up today. So we're about to teach the class at our online school. The class is Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is a 10-week online class. And we look at the period of time from basically from the Civil War, 1861, 1865. We look from the Civil War to the Reconstruction, Reconstruction, Jim Crow era, Great Migration, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, the Black Power movement. Okay. And I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. And in today's session, we're going to start in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase. Okay. We're going to start with the Louisiana Purchase. And we really go through and focus in on this critical piece of history, this period of time after slavery ends, to understand what happened to us and how do we get to where we are today to better understand where we need to go from here. Okay. So this is a 10-week online class that I teach, and we deal with a ton of history. Each class we go through and analyze approximately a 10 to 15, 20-year period of history in some classes. Okay, so we start with the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, and the U.S. got 828,000 square miles of land from France for about $15 million. And the Louisiana, what this is going to do is this is going to increase the need for African slaves here in the U.S. Okay, the Louisiana Purchase. Now they got the land because the French got the behinds kicked by the during the Haitian Revolution, Toussaint Louverture, Bookman Dada, things like this, the Haitian Revolution. But what this is going to do inadvertently, what this does is this increases the need for slave labor here in the U.S., African slave labor here in the U.S. Okay, so we deal with the Louisiana Purchase, and we look at what leads up to the Civil War taking place. Okay, so we look at the Louisiana Purchase, we look at the Missouri Compromise of 1820, the Kansas-Nebraska Act 1854. And we go through and look at this history. And when we look at the Louisiana Purchase, the U.S. doubles its territory with this purchase. The Louisiana Purchase is going to lead to the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which the Missouri Compromise, what that did was organize the land that the U.S. got through the Louisiana through the Louisiana Purchase, and what it did was it allowed Missouri to come into the U.S. as a slave-holding state, and allowed Maine to come into the U.S. as a free state. The Missouri Compromise of 1820. The Missouri Compromise is not talked about a lot, but the Missouri Compromise comes into play when we deal with the Dred Scott case, Dred Scott versus Sanford, 1857 U.S. Supreme Court case, because the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the Missouri Compromise was unconstitutional, which helped to nullify Dred Scott's argument. So we deal with the Civil War, 1861, 1865. We look at the Reconstruction Era, and we look at the end of Reconstruction also with the Compromise of 1877, okay, between the Democrats and Republicans. And this is going to lead to this leads to Reconstruction ending, but then we're going to see the reversal of the rights of African Americans as well. We're going to see segregation laws reimposed. we're going to see state constitutions rewritten, like the Mississippi State Constitution of 1890, which legalizes poll taxes and literacy tests. We're going to see this adopted by other states, South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana, things like this, and they're reversing the gains that African Americans were made during Reconstruction. Okay, we look at the Mexican-American War of 1846-1848, which leads to the U.S. getting the land from Mexico that makes up California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Nevada in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo of 1848. Okay. Mexico loses about a third of their territory, and the U.S. is trying to expand, and they really want to take over the entire North American continent. We look at things like the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 that leads also to Bleeding Kansas, which is armed conflict between pro-slavery and anti-slavery groups in Kansas. The Kansas-Nebraska Act is going to result in the Republican Party being founded in 1854 as a direct backlash to the Kansas-Nebraska Act. And the Kansas-Nebraska Act, what this did was this allowed the territory, the Kansas-Nebraska Act left it up to the people who live in the Kansas territory. It left it up to them to determine whether or not they had slavery, as opposed to it being dictated to them by the federal government. So this really infuriated a lot of abolitionists. All right. We talk about things like manifest destiny. We look at the Reconstruction Era, 40 acres and a mule, special field order number 15, 1865. We look at the Jim Crow era, the three Constitution Amendments, three Reconstruction Amendments, 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. We talk about people like Sarah Rector, who was the richest Afro-American girl in the country. And she got land because of the Black Freedmen Indian Treaties of 1866 and the Dawes Allotment Act of 1887. Her parents were of enslaved Creek Indian ancestry in Oklahoma. Okay. And then what we see is we deal with things like the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, the Freedmen's Bureau, 1865, and the Freedmen's Bank, and different things like this. And we look at these laws and policies put in place. We look at advancements African Americans were making, but then we see how all this is reversed in these voter suppression laws that were put in place in the 1890s, early 1900s. Okay, to lock African Americans largely out of voting, get us knocked out of political office. We look at the domestic terrorism that was inflicted upon us as well. Okay, so then we go through and we look at the World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement. And each class we go through and analyze approximately a 10, 15, in some cases 20-year period of history to understand what happened to us after slavery ended, and to better understand where we are today and where we need to go from here. So this class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. We'll post a link here once again. You can register for the class. We do this on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Class number 1 is Sunday, February 6th. Okay, class number 1 is today. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. So even a year from now, you can go back and watch the full class. Okay, even a year from now, or what have you, you can go back and watch the full class. You can use this with your children also. I would say the content is PG-13. It's not overly graphic. I don't do a lot of cursing, things like this. We have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. I also posted a link here as well. And then we have a bundle pack. You can register for both classes, this class and the other class that I teach, on Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And this deals with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place also. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. If you have taken any of our classes in the past, email me at ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com, ahnshow at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and we'll give you a 50% discount on these classes and the bundle pack also. Okay, so this is a great deal. These two classes are normally $260 total, normally $130 each. We have them on sale right now. You can register for this class, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. It's on sale $80, but in the bundle pack, you get both classes for only $120. Once again, we do the sessions live. They're archived and recorded. You can go back and watch them anytime. So we have the link here on the thread of the broadcast, and also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right. We have to get out of here. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win. Wakanda forever.